In this presentation, I will be analyzing a jumping header in soccer. It is important to know that the movement will look different in certain scenarios, and form may be different from person to person. For the example given, the header is performed with no opposition, allowing the athlete to focus his attention on jumping high rather than protecting himself from injury. When listing muscles and their groupings, I will vocalize them in a methodical order. This order will be from dorsal to ventral, going inferiorly or distally for the arms. I will also try my best to move out laterally, doing the trunk before the arms. In the stance phase, the neck will move into a slight hyperextension and eccentric contraction. During this motion, the splenius and erector spinae muscles are at work. In the trunk, isometric and concentric contractions occur as the abdominal muscles pull the lumbar spine into slight flexion. As in most athletic movements, these muscles will remain slightly contracted while the action is performed. At the shoulder, the joint is pulled into extension, as well as a slight horizontal abduction, to get the arms away from the body. This motion is performed by the middle and posterior deltoids, teres major, latissimus dorsi, and the lower fibers of the pectoralis major. All of the rotator cuff muscles are in action. The shoulder girdle is forced into depression, downward rotation, and slight adduction by the upper, middle, and lower trapezius muscles, the rhomboid, and pectoralis minor. These motions are concentric contractions. Within the arm, the elbow joint is in slight flexion, assisted by the biceps brachii, brachialis, brachioradialis, and pronator teres. The wrist joint is in slight abduction, a giveaway that he is committed to jumping. The extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis, abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis longus, flexor carpi radialis, and flexor pollicis longus allow him to do this, while the flexor digitorum superficialis and profundus move the fingers into slight flexion. Flexion movements are concentric contractions, while abduction is eccentric. The preparatory phase makes my job easy, as the only change that occurs is at the fingers, moving more tightly into flexion. For the movement phase, I analyze the athlete at the point the ball begins to leave his head. It is not until the ball leaves his head that the purpose for the jump is fulfilled and the follow-through phase can begin. At this point, the neck is in a slight hyperflexion, a concentric contraction, thanks to the sternocleidomastoid. The arms are pivoted into flexion and diagonal adduction due to anterior deltoid, latissimus dorsi, teres major, the upper and lower fibers of pectoralis major, and the coracobrachialis of the shoulder joint. The subscapularis rotator cuff muscle tries to help too. The upper, middle, and lower trapezius muscles, levator scapulae, rhomboid, and serratus anterior jam the shoulder girdle into elevation, upward rotation, and slight abduction as well. The muscles responsible for flexion are concentrically contracting, while the rest are eccentric. Finally, in the follow-through phase, everything will return to how they were in the stance phase, with the exception of the neck. The neck is in a slight capital extension as he watches the ball. The splenius and erector spinae muscles are used for this eccentric contraction.